Link building in 2025 remains one of the most misunderstood and yet most important parts of SEO. In fact, it's pretty clear from across the industry that backlinks matter more than ever. A few years ago, people were saying that Google was moving away from backlinks and instead was looking much more about subject matter expertise and topical authority. And it was true. If you published a really good site that comprehensively covered a topic, you could get a big boost over a lot of major media brands. I myself, when I ran a shaving blog, was able to outrank sites like Men's Health and Forbes by having a really detailed, comprehensive authority site. But as we've seen from recent Google updates, the reverse seems to be true now, and authority is everything. And while you might not be able to outrank Forbes, Men's Health and Business Insider anymore, there are still plenty of niches where those media brands aren't there and your competitors are. And for that very reason, all you really need to do to succeed with SEO is to do more than your competitors. And for the vast majority of my audience, that's actually a lot easier than you think, because a lot of SEOs and businesses, they can be quite lazy, let's face it, and they can be relying on quite old and outdated techniques. And this is why link building is really nothing to be fearing. And in today's video, I'm going to show you it can be much simpler than you actually expect. And I think perfect example, if I just show you this lead generation site of mine, this is for a personal injury lawyer. And you can see we're ranking in the US, we've got 115 traffic, and the value of that traffic, if they were using paid ads, or if I was using paid ads to get that traffic, it would cost $4,400 a month. So I'm not ranking for nothing here, I'm ranking for really good keywords. And if I scroll down, you can see this is a brand new site as well. So launched in November and then grew very quickly. But you'll notice we've got a domain rating of 0. And currently in Ahrefs, we're only seeing 34 backlinks from 21 referring domains. And I can assure you, they're nothing to write home about either. This site was built using a simple checklist of actually really easy backlinks to build that I'm going to share with you in this video. And let me tell you, this is exactly what I'm focusing on in 2025, because what we've noticed with recent Google updates is a lot more volatility. The updates are quite random. So you can do everything right, and I've seen this happen many times. You can do everything right, have the best content, the best backlinks, and still end up getting your rankings dropped. Whereas on the other hand, you can be a little bit more aggressive and just get away with it. So what I really encourage in 2025 is focus on the minimum cost to rank, try and spread your risk across multiple domains if you can, and that way if one blows up, then you've got other options to replace it. Not forgetting, of course, you also want to rely on other traffic sources as well. Don't rely 100% on SEO. But because of that, we're no longer talking about spending $2-3 grand a month on link building for one particular website. And what I'm really into now is minimizing that cost to rank so that you can get your site going for just a couple of $100s. And that's exactly what's going on here. We haven't spent more than a few $100s on this site. If I just zoom in on some of these keywords, you can see 450 searches a month for a $46 keyword, and we're at number 3. And then we rank very well for some other terms as well. And then you can see those keywords are related to car accident, auto accident, automobile attorney. You get the idea. So step 1, the first backlinks I think you should build are called citations. Now, these are normally more associated with Google Maps and getting ranking on the map pack. And it's true that all a citation really is your business name, address, and phone number listed in a business directory somewhere. And basically you want to train Google to understand who you are, who you serve, and what you actually do, so that your plumbing company offers boiler servicing in Wisconsin, something like that. Or in my case, I am a car accident lawyer in this location. And citations are a great way to do that. Now, technically a citation doesn't even need to include a link. You just want to get all those listings that prove to Google that you're a real business and this is what your business does. But because of that, even without a link, that's still valuable. It's still a trust factor for Google. But at the same time, many of them do include a link. And that link may well be no follow. It's just going to be your URL. It's just a random link on a business listing that links to your homepage. But the fact is, you can easily get 50, 100 of them very cheaply. Now, if you want to build them yourself, you can click the link below where I've got a list of citations for you, where you can simply go in and sign up, create an account on each of those websites, and build yourself some citations. But really, I would say it's more trouble than it's worth. So I just go to a marketplace like Legit, and you can see you can get hundreds for just a few dollars. I typically budget around $40 to $50 for citations. So whatever you're starting, whether it's your own business, whether it's lead gen, affiliate, just get these out of the way, because they're basically free and they prove you're a real business, they're a major trust factor, and you're going to get some links out of it anyway. Now, a lot of business owners get worried saying, oh, but I need a phone number, I need an address, what do I do about that? So there's various things you can do there. The fact is, this is going to be buried on a business directory. So it doesn't really matter what you actually put there. If you end up putting your own phone number, or maybe your phone number with a mistake, then I'm pretty sure no one's ever actually going to ring that. But should you wish, there are phone number generators out there, things like that. You just need something to put in that field. And then in terms of the address, a lot of people will use Google Maps and try and find an industrial estate or something like that. It really depends on the type of business you're promoting. I like to try and make it look plausible, and so for that reason, I tend to look for an office to let in the location I'm serving. And one of my favorites is always if you can find a big office block like that, that's likely to have lots of different businesses in it. So for the citation, I might well put the building name or the number, but I don't have to put an individual suite number if I don't want to. But try and make it look plausible. Try and get the more of an office if you've got more of a corporate offering, whereas if you're more of a contractor, then maybe you want something a bit more industrial. But simple as that, find an office to let, preferably within a big building with lots of businesses in it. And then in the unlikely situation that some post turns up for your business, then it's not like it's turning up at someone's shop and they're saying, what on earth is this injury lawyer doing in my craft shop? An office like that, this is going to have businesses moving in and out all the time. There's going to be a lot of unclaimed mail there. Now, next up, we have press releases. Now, again, people complain about press releases, saying they're no-follow links and they've got no value. Again, the fact is, with even a basic press release, you're going to get your brand mentioned on 400 websites. And that might be a no-follow link, but that's a no-follow link that's actually within a contextual piece of content. Because remember, Google is looking not just for the text of the link, what we call the anchor text, but it's also looking for the surrounding relevance. What is that page actually talking about? And that helps inform Google what keyword that website should rank for. So unlike a citation, a press release basically gives you a guest post. You've got this full optimized page of content that then gets distributed across powerful news websites. Now, I've gone quite upmarket here using Yahoo Finance. There are plenty of press release providers out there, and it basically depends on where you want to get placement. If you want Yahoo Finance and those big names, then you've got to spend a bit more money. But in my case, if I'm just getting a site off the ground, I just want the links. I want those 400 contextual backlinks all pointing at my site saying this is what this person does. So for those purposes, I use a really cheap press release provider. And even though this is a cheap press release with not the best inventory in the world, this particular placement is on a DR82 site with 37,000 traffic per month. And this is just one placement of around 400 others. Someone commented on my video the other day saying, your agency publishes press releases written with AI. Or 80% written with AI. And I thought, yeah, so what? Our main concern is the link, but if that link can be surrounded by contextually relevant content, then even better. And what you'll generally find is these press releases on a powerful site do actually rank for relevant keywords as well. So they're funneling all that power and authority back to your site. So in this case, we've got all the relevant keywords we want to rank for, we've got the locations we want to rank in, we've got all the LSIs, all the related keywords, the longer tails, so different types of loft conversions we want to rank for in there as well. So that's all pushing more relevance to my website. Now, if this is sounding a bit complicated for you, but you like the idea of getting 400 contextually relevant backlinks for normally around $50, but even as low as $7, then again, click the link below. And not only am I going to send you a list of good citations you can get, but I'll also give you my full SOP for press releases, including where to get them, depending on what sort of level you want to go for, from the premium high end to the just give me the links cheap end, and also how to write them in an SEO friendly way that allows them to rank, pass maximum power to your website, but while still getting approved by the actual news editors. Now, for a whole lot of businesses, that combination of citations plus a press release is all you really need to actually rank. And that's all that I did for this particular website. So you can see DR0 getting all that traffic in the law firm niche. Only a few of those backlinks are even showing up in Ahrefs because they're buried in business directories and buried on news sites. It's not easy for Ahrefs or Google to actually pick up all those listings. But it doesn't matter, and that was a $7 press release as well, not a premium one. So far, total link building on this site has cost around $60. And yes, the press release was written with AI. It works. So after this, if you're getting decent results from just that, but you want to go further, but Google is clearly signaling to us that it really likes this website, that's when I take it up a notch, and that's when I go into guest posting and outreach. Now, guest post outreach is far simpler than most people make it out to be. You just want to find relevant competitors in your niche, so search your keyword, and then just start going through some of your competitors. Now, I wouldn't go after the massive DR 70, 80, because they've probably been around a long time. They're probably paid for all sorts of PR professionals. they've probably got a lot of links that are going to be very difficult for you to get. Whereas if I can find someone who's around DR 36, 40, 50, then there's a good chance that I'm probably going to be able to get a load of those links as well. So in that case, unfortunately, I do recommend Ahrefs in this case. We've had discussions in my mastermind about how expensive Ahrefs is getting. And yes, there are new tools where you can bring your own API key. But for my purposes, running an agency, I really need the best in class for link analysis. For me, it's not worth the cost of migrating and the potential risk to my business if the cheaper alternative doesn't fulfill the same needs. Now, what I tend to do when I find a competitor like this is only one of the competitors. We need to do this rinse and repeat multiple times. But we want do follow backlinks. Now, I used to filter by domain traffic and DR. But now Ahrefs has got a handy filter where you can just say best links only. And then this 268 backlinks should drop considerably. And so now we only have 7 backlinks. So I would export that list and then we just go back to the next one. So let's go and find someone else. And remember, we're taking all these backlinks from the sites that are already ranking high up on Google. So there's a good chance that these links, because they're working for these sites, they're also going to work for my sites as well. So we can see the number 1 Miami car accident attorney. They've only got a domain rating of 21, so there's a good chance that we can get some of these backlinks. In fact, as I'm scrolling through here, I am recognizing a lot of guest posting sites I've seen. But don't forget, when you're doing this, yes, we can look at the individual page, but we'll get much better results if we look at the whole domain at once. So again, look at the full domain, filter to best links only. You can adjust these figures if you want. So people do argue now that actually, because so many websites are looking to sell links, and they'll be quite unscrupulous about just getting their DR up to 30 in order to pass that industry threshold. So because of that, links that have lots of traffic and a high DR are more likely to have been manipulated. They're more likely to have been abused and selling links all over the place. And they also tend to be quite expensive. So some people are now arguing that actually, if you change this to 20 and 500, you're probably going to end up with a lot more options, better quality links, and a lower price per link as well. Now, before you have a go at me in the comments, yes, I buy links. You're not going to get very far with this if you're not prepared to pay for it. Now, I agree you've got to be careful about it and make sure you're buying links from the right websites. Because like I say, this is now a business model where people will buy an old domain name, inflate the DR using tools, inflate the traffic, and then sell hundreds of thousands of backlinks to every casino and adult site out there. So there's one risk there that could be a toxic link to your site. But at the end of the day, even without theories around toxicity and getting penalized, whether that happens or whether it doesn't, the fact is if you're paying for a link, then you want to be getting value from it. And that value is about power. So a site that links out to everyone is not going to be funneling much power down into your site. So again, we want a wide funnel, trying to get as many prospects as we can, and then we're going to go through with a fine-tooth comb and try and find the links that have got the best power to give us. So they're not linked out to everyone else, they themselves have a lot of power, and therefore our site is going to inherit more of that power. So we've affected our best links filter. So now if we do show results, there's just 41 backlinks on this site that qualify as best links. So we can scroll through here. Now, some people recommend more of a sniper approach, where you go through and reach out to each of these sites individually, or at least the ones that look best to you. I prefer to go the other way around, reach out in bulk, see how many are amenable, how many are willing to negotiate with you, and then from that shortlist, then pick which ones you actually want. Now, I can tell you for a fact, I recognize some of these websites. I know we can get links on these websites. So again, I export that list and then we go back again and move on to another website. So keep doing this until you scraped the backlinks of all the sites that are ranking, at least in the top 10, maybe even the top 20 for your main keyword. And what that should do is give you an enormous list of prospects you can reach out to. Because the fact is, many of them are never actually going to respond. If I were to reach out to rankings.io, DR65, are they going to be interested in giving me a link? Probably not. Whereas the chances are there's going to be some smaller blogs, some mum blogs, things like that in here, and they're going to be far more willing to negotiate. Then we head over to Hunter, and what Hunter does is it can match up all those domain names with an email address. After that, it also functions as basically a CRM, which basically means not only does it give us the email address, it will also allow us to send emails to them. Now, step one for this is you need a Google Workspace account, formerly known as G Suite. You can use a personal Gmail account, but it's going to get worn out, it's going to get burnt out very quickly. You can't send many emails with it, and then when you get caught, you lose that account. So Google Workspace is not expensive, and you can set it up with an actual business domain name. And then people talk about email warm-up tools. So when you first register that email address and that domain, it's going to have no sender reputation. So a lot of your emails are just going to go into junk. Now, it used to be there were warm-up tools out there where you can basically connect loads of Gmail accounts together on their network, and they'll all email each other and favorite and mark as safe and basically big up each other's inbox, and that would warm up your sending reputation. These days, a lot of those tools don't work so well anymore. There are still a few out there, but now one of the best things you can do is use the platform Microworkers. You've probably heard me talk about this before, and you can basically pay people around the world to receive your email, and they can tick favorite, reply, and interact with that email to prove that it's safe. That's a bit advanced, that's a bit complex, but if you want really good sending reputation, then that's the way you do it. And when you're in your Google Workspace account setting up your domain, you want to make sure you're setting up DKIM records and SPF records. These are all authentications that show you've verified that domain and you're allowed to use it. Now, when you first start sending your campaign, you want to start with a low number, maybe 20, 30 emails per day, and then steadily ramp up over time. But eventually you can be sending more than 100 emails per day. Now, what does that look like? Loads of people will tell you about the perfect script, the perfect pitch to try and get a link, but generally speaking, I like to cut to the chase. I don't want to go in straight away and say I will buy a link off you, but basically I'm open about the fact I want a collaboration, I want a link. How can we sort this out, basically? Whatever I can do in return, just name it. First of all, just offer a link swap, because there are a lot of really good quality websites where they don't want to sell you a link because it's perceived as being a bit black hat, but to actually exchange a link is much more appealing to them, and that's a mutually beneficial transaction. So you've already created a short list of websites that have linked to your competitors. Therefore, there's quite a reasonable chance they're going to be willing to link to you. So we then reach out with that script, and then of that wide funnel of leads, some of them are inevitably going to get back to you. So this is what a typical response looks like. Thank you for contacting us. We charge this much per link, and then they have their requirements. So it must be relevant to the niche, or maybe they don't allow casinos and crypto. It really varies. That's why it pays to have a wide funnel, because if you contact enough of these websites, you're going to find all kinds of different requirements, from really expensive and really stringent requirements to much cheaper and very low requirements. And then after that, we simply push back and say, here's a counter offer. We'll go in with a lowball counter offer, because like any negotiation, you want to meet somewhere in the middle. They're quoting you the retail rate, but the fact is, it's not going to be a whole lot of work for them to actually publish this article. So try and get that as low as you can. If they're not amenable to that, you can always move on to the next one. So as you can see here, depends how niche you're going, but quite often 5% reply rate, 10% reply rate, somewhere around that mark tends to be good. So that's why we go through each competitor. If each competitor has only got 50 good backlinks pointing at them, then we'll go through 10 and end up with 500 potential leads. And then if 5 to 10% get back to us, then that's a decent number of good leads for us. However, there are some important considerations with this strategy. Like I say, selling links is now a business model. And actually, with a lot of Google's recent updates, loads of content sites have been struggling. So they might have lost all their traffic, they might have turned to being a bit unscrupulous, and once they realize they can sell links for quite a premium price, then they are prone to abuse. So you need to check things like, with that domain rating, have they manipulated the domain rating? What kind of traffic are they actually getting? We've got this really lengthy screening checklist that every backlink we build goes through, and we keep on updating it because we're seeing new threats coming out all the time, new schemes to try and get your money off you and give you a link that at best doesn't give you a whole lot of value, and at worst could result in a penalty. So there's all kinds of hidden tricks out there that most people just wouldn't notice, like PBN links on the homepage linking to casinos and essay writing sites. Have they used spammy link building tactics to inflate their domain rating? Are they even advertising prices for guest posts on the website, which is a bit of a red flag that Google can immediately see what they're doing. Similarly, are they part of a network, and are they advertising that network all over the place? So it's really obvious that they're purely there to sell links. Then there's traffic manipulation. I played around a lot with this myself just as an experiment. If they've gone from no traffic to lots of traffic, and then half of that traffic, if it's just all looking a bit volatile, then again, that warrants further investigation. And don't forget, some of these homepage casino links can be very cleverly hidden. So all that's for you. Click the link below. You'll get my full link screening checklist that we use in the agency. You'll get my full press release SOP in order to find the cheapest press releases as well. And you'll also get a full list of citations that you can build today for free.